I think I am live. I don't know if I am live. Use that for a little tip. I am live. Wow. Wow, I'm live. And yeah, this is live. Cool. I guess I'll do like a little Instagram post thing saying like, yo, I'm live, your boy is live. Something like that, you know, like a little Instagram post thingy. The links in the bio kind of thing, you know. Boom. I don't know if anyone's gonna see that. If no one ends up seeing this live, I mean, I can always just, you know. So yeah, if no one ends up actually watching this live, it saves to my YouTube account so you can see this video afterwards. Essentially, all I'm doing is I'm gonna be making a song from scratch. What does that mean? I mean, it's pretty basic, but essentially all I'm doing is putting together at least an idea for a song as fast as I possibly can. I have to play a club tonight, so I can't take too long, but yeah, I was feeling the mood to produce. I was feeling the mood to start something. So I have an idea of making like a psytrance kind of song. If you don't know what that is, I mean, look it up. It's really, I don't know, it's tight music. If you like this dance stuff, you'll like it. Okay, so all I pretty much did was I had the idea of starting this song with a vocal chop. Essentially, that just means, you know, taking a vocal, an acapella. That's my microphone. That's awkward. Okay. Taking like an acapella. That was loud. I'm sorry. My microphone just dropped on me, and it's still going, so I'm good. Yeah. So I took an acapella of a song. I got it online. Acapella for you. Acapella number 4, and then just the letter U. .com. It's free account. You can get acapellas from, you know, famous songs, etc. And vocal chops aren't something you can do with the beat behind it. That's why you get the acapella version. Because I mean, you're making your own song, right? You don't want the person's beat behind it. So I took Camila Cabello. I definitely messed that up, but her song Havana. Very popular. Was popular. I don't know if it still is. Let's see here. So Havana, ooh, na, na. Hey. Half of my heart is in Havana, ooh, na, na. Hey. Yeah, so you know that song. It was very popular on the radio and stuff like that. I found the acapella version online, and I'm going to use this to make some kind of melody with the vocals, and then build the song around that melody, and see how far I get or what I can do with it. So cool trick in Ableton. Ableton is by far the best software in the world. That's my own personal opinion. I've actually never used anything else, so I could be totally wrong on that. It's not what you use, it's how you use it, you know. So FL Studio, Logic Pro, Ableton, whatever you use, if you can use it to your ability and the way you perfect it and craft it, then by all means, bravo. Where I started on Ableton when I was 18. I didn't take producing very seriously until I was like 20, I would say. I took it very seriously at age 20, and I've been going at it since then. I'm 23 now, so word of advice to anyone who's just starting out producing and stuff like that. Keep at it. Don't stop. You're gonna feel really frustrated for the first, I don't know, year. It's gonna be hard work. You're not gonna. It's gonna sound like absolute poop. And you're gonna be like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna learn this stuff. It's too hard. You'll learn it. You'll figure it out. People always ask me like, who taught me? Or where did I start? No one really taught me how to produce music at all. I definitely got like tips and pointers from people here and there, but no one like sat down with me and like show me how to produce a song. The best way to do it is do your own, do your own searching and stuff. Go on YouTube. YouTube is your best friend when it comes to music production. There's people on there who make amazing videos of them producing all kinds of songs, and like tips and tricks and like starter, like beginner videos and stuff like that. Highly recommend. Just go on YouTube, search, first time producing a song, like what are the first steps to a beginner producing? I don't know, stuff like that. You'll find all kinds of stuff. And I'm gonna end it on this. It'll never just happen. You gotta put in a lot of work. I couldn't even tell you how many hours I put in watching stuff on YouTube and stuff like that. It's definitely way too many hours to count. And not only just watching the videos, but doing it too and practicing. And you have to make bad songs and stuff like that to get to where you want to be. So, word of advice is just don't stop doing whatever you want to do. If you love it, then do it. I'm by no means great producer yet. Hope to be one day, but gotta start somewhere. So, anyways, back to the video. Yeah, Vamos a Cappella for Camila Cabello, Havana, featuring Young Thug. I didn't want any of Young Thug's vocals in this. I just wanted hers. So the original song, Havana, right? Half of my heart is in Havana. And you don't just take that and throw it in your song because that's copyright. And I mean, you're not being creative if you do that. You're just stealing someone's work. So what I did is, first of all, I pitched this up to kind of make it sound a little different. So right now it'll sound like a chipmunk, but stay with me here. I'll make it sound something totally different. So this is how it sounds now. So it's all chipmunk. It's higher of an octave. So all I did, if you open up the wavetable, not wavetable, I'm sorry, the sound itself, the audio file, this transpose button right here, or knob, turn it up. Turn it up like 12, or say you go up like 7, for example. I like to keep it around there. Another important note when you're vocal chopping and stuff like that, make sure you find the key of the song that you are that are going to be like using. So say, for example, this song, Havana, is in G minor. If you're first getting to producing, I'm not going to recommend you like learn all the scales and keys. I don't even know all the scales and keys. To be honest, I go over here. I go into Google, I type in like G minor, and this site right here is great, basicmusictheory.com. If you scroll down, it will show you the exact keys that are in that scale, and you want to stay within that scale for your entire song. You don't have to. You can, there's no rules to music, but to make sure it sounds as a whole, as one song, I recommend doing this, especially if you're a beginner. I'm sure you can find a lot of videos on major and minor scales and what that means and stuff like that. For example, most hip hop songs, like trap hip hop songs, are in minor scales. They sound very like sad or like mad or angry, for example. And then major scales are like more like poppy stuff. A lot of those are major scales, and they just sound more happy. So this song was in G minor, so I looked it up online. I usually go by here. So this is a B flat. Essentially, it's also it's an A sharp. If you go up, it's A sharp. This does it backwards from the way I'm used to seeing it. So I just read it as A sharp because Ableton doesn't read flats. I'm sure it does if you change the settings, but I always used it in major. I mean, yeah, like sharps, not flats. So I'll look at this and be like, oh, it's everything but B and E. So I'll just fill in the blank, and I'll show you what I do with that eventually. Hopefully later on in this video you'll see it. And I think I got a comment of something that someone's asking. And if it isn't, then I got a text saying it. So let me read this text and see what someone is saying. It's probably someone just, yeah, people are funny. So let's get back to the video. So here it is. I got this sample going, and I'm going to chop it up right here. Why is this? Oh, sorry, it's all over the place. Okay. So I ended up splicing it. What that means is, alright, so the cool way of doing vocal chops is you go into a song and you find parts of the vocal that stick out the most. So, let's see. Why isn't it playing?
All of my heart is in Havana. There's something about his manners. Havana, you know what's up with that? How you doing? When he came in, he said there's a lot of girls I can do it.
So essentially, I'm putting markers. You can double click anywhere on this audio file, and it'll make a marker. I'm gonna find parts of the vocal that sound like cool. Like vowels are very important. If you can find like vowels within like the song, like oohs, a's, like ah, or something like that, it'll sound really good in vocal chops. I went through and I found these chops that to me would sound cool, and I clicked on this, right click, get all these options, and you can slice to new MIDI track. That will bounce out for you, and you get something like, it'll make this like little MIDI file right here. If you enable MIDI, I can just sit here on my keyboard and just right. So I'm gonna go in here. I have all these slices. I just sliced these up from the audio file. This is just playing the whole song with all my splices that I spliced up. It's really irrelevant, so I'm just gonna delete it all. There's an easy way of doing this, but I don't know, I forget. So I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Boom. What's this one? So that's the original. Before I put it in octave higher. Okay, what's this one? Same thing. I don't really need that, so I'm gonna focus on this one right here. So I have all these splices, all these slices of sounds. Again, like I said, want to find like vowels or things that like stick out. You know, some of them may sound like absolute shit, but that's just how it goes. Right now it sounds very dry, very boring. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start adding a little effects to it to make it sound better. First thing I do is I put in reverb. You can use Ableton stock reverb. I'm used to using Valhalla Room. It's what I've always used for years now. Little solids up. I'm not gonna teach, reverb. There's a lot of videos out there about reverb. Essentially, it makes the sound go from this to this. It makes it sound bigger, wider, which, I mean, if you play this song in a club and it's just, you could, but reverb is spices up a little bit, makes it sound a little more wide, a little more lively. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a little melody out of this vocal chop, and then once I make a melody that I'm happy with, I will put it into audio, and then I can do more things with the audio, which I'll get into later. So I don't know. Let's just mess around with some stuff and see if we get anything that we like. Let's see. So people are familiar with the keyboard. Someone may have been taught the keyboard, piano, whatever, when they were raised. I never was. I was never a piano player. Never was, never am. Hopefully it will be one day when I have more time in my hands. But Ableton has this cool piano roll. If you double click into any MIDI channel, it'll open up the piano roll. And then in this piano roll, it acts as a piano. And you can literally just that kind of stuck out to me. That's pretty cool. So I'm gonna start messing around with it. See what I get. And this, I don't want it to be a house song. If you just joined, or you missed the beginning part of the video, I'm looking to make like a psytrance. If you don't know that like genre, it's that new festival sound that a lot of guys are messing with. And I'm gonna make this around like 150, which is pretty fast, but we'll see how it goes. I'm just feeling for it. This takes a while. On a live stream, I can't speed it up. I can't speed myself up. So it might take a little while, but stick with me, and hopefully the melody will come out of it. might be okay. But let's see if there's any other possibilities. That's pretty cool. I like the first part a lot. Second part is iffy on me right now, but who knows? Cool. So I like that. You can always change it afterwards. I can always duplicate it. I always do this if I like what I currently have, but I think I could possibly make it a little better in the future. Then I'll duplicate it, and I could disable it. Why is it taking forever right now? Okay, I can always disable it, come back to it if needed be to fix it. I don't delete it. So I like to keep things just in case. I'm not gonna need these anymore, so I'll delete that. It's very important when you're producing to delete things that you don't think you're gonna need in the future, because it just takes up a lot of space and it makes your workflow messy, and you don't want that. I'm gonna do that. What's this? Same thing. I don't need it. These I shouldn't need either. And I can also, within audio, I can bounce this to audio, and I can mess with it some more. Make some things an octave lower, make it a little more like just different. Which is what I'm gonna do right now. Actually, and duplicate this again, make a whole new MIDI file. So I have 3 of the same things. One to go back to if I need to make any changes. One of them to experiment with. So when I bounce this to audio, I'm going to freeze it. Another tip within Ableton is you can freeze MIDI tracks. You freeze MIDI tracks to do 2 different things. One, so say you have a lot of reverb or any kind of effects on a MIDI track. If you use Ableton a lot, or if you produce a lot, you'll know that you can't really control the effects in a MIDI clip. You can, but it's an extra steps. If you freeze a track, you can delete audio. You can delete like certain audio effects. So I'm assuming this is the reverb I put on here, right? I can delete that. And that's like the tail of the reverb that I can delete. So say you have this building up to like a drop, and you want before the drop you want it all to be quiet and silent, so that when it comes in it hits hard, right? So you can do that for that reason, or you can just freeze it to save up. So there's three reasons why you can do that. Number two is you can save up some CPU. MIDI will eat your CPU alive. You have too many MIDI tracks, Ableton will start crackling and it'll get all weird. Third reason is you can flatten it, and that will make it audio. My phone's dead. Give me 1 second.
Charge this bad later, yeah.
I'm a very important person. No, I'm not. But I can't have a phone that's dead. It's not cool. Sorry about that. Oh, wow. Awkward. I kind of want it to end on like a higher pitched sound, so. I might keep it as that. So you're probably thinking like, hey, I have this vocal chop, cool. Now it's getting a little boring. What are you gonna do with that? So while I'm making this melody in my head, I already have an idea of a bass line, and with that bass line, I can make chords over that, you know, to beef it all up. With this, I'm thinking like a bass line first to fill up the the whole spectrum with that, and then I'm gonna have like a pad or something very low over the bass line to kind of push it all, and then I'm gonna add some claps to it to keep it moving, and then from the claps is gonna go right to the build up and build up right into the drop. The drop, I have no idea what I'm doing for the drop sounds yet. I could sample the same exact things I just chopped up into the side trance thing, or I could be a little more different and try to make my own sound, which isn't always easy to do, but we'll see. First, let's make the breakdown and see what we can do with that. Yeah, let's keep that the way it is. So if you want to, you know, mess with the pitch of audio samples or anything like that, always go into Complex Pro and then put the envelope down all the way. That way you can start then you can start messing with like the transpose, and it won't affect the sound. I'm not gonna do it here, but go ahead and try it with anything else besides Complex Pro and see how it sounds. It sounds like absolute shit, so. Let's see if I can change this and make it like an octave lower and see how it sounds. If it sounds weird, then, you know, so be it. But let's see. You're not an octave, but so there's a lot of cleaning up to do. We'll start adding some effects to it. Kind of. I also hear some like crackling and some weird stuff happening with the audio sample. So let's first add EQ. EQ'd a little bit. Definitely needs it. I use Pro Q2 for my mixing. So I hear like a little, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I hear this really metallic sound in there that's kind of throwing me off. So I'm going to try to find it. You can do this within the EQ by narrowing the Q of the band, of a high pass band, not high pass, I'm sorry, a bell. And in Pro Q2 you can just turn this on and find the sound that's pissing you off. It's happening in here, so let's try to find it in here. Found it. So that's very annoying. I found it. I'm gonna cut it out. There's still something there though, so I'm gonna keep going and try to get it all out. If I can, sometimes you can't, and that's fine. And you can kind of mask it with other sounds sometimes, but if you can, it's best to get rid of it all. So before. There's still a little crispiness to it, but I'm not worried about it for right now. Start adding some other things to it, see what we can do. First thing I'm going to do is go to the good old OTT. If you don't know what this is, when you're producing, for example, Google, YouTube this shit. It's essentially it's just it's what it really is over the top compressor, and it just works wonders. It's magical. Well, it's all it really is. Okay. I'm not sure I'm going to do anything else right now for it. I might come back to it and see what I can do, but for right now I'm not going to do anything. I might saturate it a little bit. Just going to add some top end to it. So that's still giving me problems. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it, the low end like that, how it goes down an octave, but we'll see. So now I'm going to add a bass line to it, kind of spice it up a little bit. I think it's buffering a little bit right now. I'm sorry, I'm not sure why that's happening. Anyways, keep going. Let's see what happens. Right here's an audio file. I'm actually gonna add the clap now, just to get it over with. See what I have here. That was kind of loud. So now I'm going to add this this bass. So I'm going to stand for it. Stand should work just fine. Let's see. We'll see. You don't want that. That sounds weird. Let's just go into here and see if we can find. No. Nope. I'm also probably octave high right now, so. This is in G minor. Just like I was saying before. Go into Google, type in whatever key or scale it is, and go from there. So I'm going to do something in Ableton. I always do this to make it simple for myself. Like I said, I'm not a good piano player. I don't know scales or keys for that matter that well. I mean, I know my keys, but I don't know the scales by heart all the time. So this helps me get rid of that factor. So let's see. So G, A, C, D, F. This is a cool trick I always use. I'm gonna start at the root note. Root note would be G. This is G minor. So G, A, C, D, F, G, and then the sharps are A sharp, D sharp, and then that's it. So all I'm gonna do is simply, now that I have those notes like that, duplicate it, highlight the whole thing, Command D on Mac. I'm not sure what it is on Windows. Shift and then up arrow brings it up, and then just move it over. Keep doing the same thing. Oh. And then if you fold this button up here, the fold button, so I have everything from G1, it's very, very low. I'm not sure if you can hear this. You can. All the way up to, F6. If you do anything higher than that, I doubt it, but, you fold this, and boom, it folds all the notes you just highlighted. So now any key that you press will be in key. Will be in the scale of G minor. So you can literally press any key you want, and it will be in that scale, and it'll be good to go. Which is pretty cool. So now I'm gonna play around with notes and listen to this vocal chop I just made, and try to make a bass line out of it. Underneath it, that bass line I can start adding like a pad or some kind of chord, maybe like a piano or I don't know, anything like that, in a different layer off that bass line. So everything kind of goes off one another, which is pretty cool. So let's try this out. I'm gonna start with the root note again. Simple but cool. Maybe I can go a little longer on the notes. That could work too. I'm not sure which one I go for right now. It'll take me a little while to like listen to it until I find like the right rhythm. So let me side by side it really quick and see which one I'm feeling more. So this bass has sub in it, sub frequencies, but I'm not sure I want to use the bass frequencies, the sub frequencies of that bass line. So I'm gonna make a whole new Serum patch. Name it sub. Go back into Serum. I use this one preset a lot for sub frequencies. I got it in this pack. What is it pack? It's called a Sub Magic, and it is what it says it is. It's magic. It's very loud, very punchy. Just a great sub to use. So let me get this down a little bit. Let's see how it sounds. Oh, before I forget, wow, that's bad. I'm gonna cut out the sub frequencies from this sound. That way they don't clash with the sub frequencies of the sub. But I do like the punchiness of this bass line, so I'm gonna keep that. I'm not sure if I want to do this one yet or. So if I were to copy this, right? Ooh. Put to the sub. Not sure yet. I'm not sure which one I like better. I'll stick with the one I already have going and stick with that one and see if I can do anything with it. Let me add another, make this clock base. Add another layer. This layer is going to be like, I don't know, a pad of some sort maybe. Oh, well, yeah, some of my girlfriend. Texting me. I had messages off, so I don't know why it's coming in, but it's okay. And now I'm gonna piggyback off of this. See what I can do. It's really slow right now. I don't know why. Presets. So people always say like you shouldn't use presets, blah blah. It's not your own work. I was like that for years. The first like 2.5 years I was producing, I was like, you shouldn't use presets. Make your own sounds. It's more unique. It's you. I agree. I mean, if you make your own, if you want to sit there for hours crafting your own presets, then by all means do it up. What I like to do, and I mean, I learned it, but it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's common sense. I learned it from Avicii. I watched one of his videos way back in the day, R.I.P. Avicii, of him producing, a remix for a song. And one thing that I really got out of that video was, I use all presets when I'm making the song, and once I finish the idea of the song, I can go back and I can put my own twist to it, make my own sound maybe, or change up sounds. But he used presets to build the song up, that way you don't lose the idea in your head. You don't mess up your flow. You just keep going. Because I can sit there for an hour crafting a sound, and that time crafting a sound for an hour, I already lost my momentum. I already lost my idea, and it's just not worth it, in my opinion. So let's see if I can find anything that's going to be useful for me. No. Nope. I want something more like not in your face. And I don't want it to be that bass layer. I already have a bass, So I'm gonna bring this up an octave, and then I'll make chords out of this. Hold on, what was that before? I guess it could stay there for now. Let's see what we can make out of it. D sharp. There we go. What was it? Essentially the same thing over here, right? So let's do that. And I might bring these up an octave. That sound sounds like a church sound. I'm not a fan of it, so let's change it up. It's too much for me. First sound's throwing me off. Whoa. not sure about that sound. I like it, but I don't like it. It's weird how I feel about it, but we'll see. I want something very low key. I might just make it in silent, but let's keep looking and see if we can find anything. Maybe you can find something. So let's say you go like. I like it, but it sounds like, I don't know. I like that idea, but let's see if maybe I can spice it up a little bit. Make it kind of flow better with the chords that I have playing. Let me put this on there. They kind of seem all the same. That's pretty cool. Now there's some frequencies that they're peaking and some are too low. So I'm gonna get a compressor. See if I can make that a little better. Maybe this has to go. I like that. It's pretty cool. I'm thinking, what do I start with, right? Do I start with something like this and let the chords kind of come in on its own? I think that's the way I should go with it. Let's do that. The auto filter, just the frequency. You want it to kind of build into it, right? Just see how it sounds. So my live stream is kind of acting funky, huh? Alright, that's fine. I'll post this. And yeah, go from there. I hope you learned a little bit of something during this video. I'm gonna keep working on this and see what I can go do going forward. Have yourselves a very nice Christmas. Happy New Year.